The God who created us has rescued us from the captivity of sin and death through the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. We're maybe getting tired of hearing that again and again and again, the good news of the gospel. Maybe kind of like the widow going again and again and again to try to get the judgment from the judge in Jesus' parable. But we're hearing about it so often because it is this great news. And the last few weeks, we've been reflecting upon our response to the God who has rescued us through Christian stewardship of prayer, participation, and generosity. And this weekend is Commitment Weekend. Because based on all that we've been reflecting upon, we're asked by God to make a definitive commitment. What is God asking of me specifically? St. Francis de Sales, he says, the good movements of prayer must lead you to deliberate decisions, precise and particular, for your correction and improvement. So he's saying that, just meditating upon the beautiful truths of our faith is of little value unless it affects the way that we live. And so a traditional and very practical way to do this is to write out our own rule of life. Rule of life. It's a guide for how you wish to specifically live your daily life. And this is something that the great saints, they formulated for themselves. The rule of St. Benedict. St. Benedict put together one for his monks so that they had a kind of clear measure, a standard for how they were to live and to hold themselves to. Recently, you've received a mailing from us that contains the financial reports for your parish as well as your own giving. Also in there is a stewardship commitment form. So it's kind of like this. And in this form, this can be a kind of instrument to help formulate your own rule of life. In the three different sections of prayer, participation, and generosity, we've got different places to check mark what it is that I want to make sure that is part of my life. And we've encouraged you then to fill this out and then return it to the collection or parish office as a sign of making that commitment to the Lord. So let's just kind of consider each of the three areas that you find on this that we can consider for our own rule of life. So first, consider the area of prayer. What do I want to do when it comes to personal prayer in my life? Get specific. What's the time that I want to pray? What's the place where I'm going to pray? How will I make Sunday, the Lord's Day, holy? Not just with Sunday Mass, but how do I ensure that Sunday is different from the other days of the week so that it's dedicated to the Lord? Maybe consider, will I attend an occasional weekday Mass? How often will I go to the sacrament of reconciliation? What's one vice in my life that I want to specifically work on? Or one virtue that I want to build up within my life? What kind of prudential use of technology and social media do I need? Maybe that's what's preventing me from having the time for prayer. Participation in a prayer group for friendship and for support. Maybe that's something God is calling me to do. Consider coming and making a holy hour in the church before the Blessed Sacrament, or even signing up for an hour of Eucharistic adoration when we have those times in our churches. In today's second reading, St. Paul recommends praying with the Scriptures. He says, because it contains God's inspired word. It's useful for teaching, correction, for training in righteousness, so that we can be equipped for every good work. Being filled with His words and His grace, we can then go and do the work that He asks us to do out in the world. And in the Gospel, Jesus says that God will secure the rights of His chosen ones who call out to Him day and night in prayer. So, that's the first section of the form. Second one is about participation. Where is God calling me to use my talents, my charisms that He's given to me? Perhaps maybe as part of parish leadership. For example, we'll be seeking new members in some of our parishes with regard to stewardship councils, as there's been those that have been serving for many years, and so we want others to be able to come and take that role and bring their gifts and talents for the leadership of our parishes. Perhaps in other parish organizations, maybe in the areas of assisting with the various liturgical duties, volunteer for different events or schools, within the parish or out in the community. Maybe it's leadership related to evangelization, for sharing the good news of the gospel that we've been reflecting upon. Is He asking me to share that good news to specific people or a specific way that we've been created, captured, rescued? We have a response. Maybe there's some kind of ministry that you can do together as a family. We've heard a couple weeks ago some witnesses of some of our fellow parishioners in the areas of prayer and participation. How is God calling you specifically to use your talents in our various different ministries? And third, on the back of the form is the area of generosity. How is God asking me to give from the first fruits of my finances to my parish, to the archdiocese, to other charitable causes? And on this commitment form, kind of gives three different ways that you might consider calculating that. An easy way to do this is to choose a percentage of your income and commit to that for a year. Consider how might your budget fit God right into it. If it's something you already do, maybe consider going further this year. If it's something that intimidates you, remember that no gift is small in the eyes of God. So thank you for all your generous contributions to our parish. Also, consider other certain charitable causes. For example, this weekend is also World Mission Sunday. And so then within your parish envelopes, there's an envelope specifically for that collection. Funds from that go to the Pontifical Mission Societies, and it's distributed worldwide to support various missionary activities, like formation programs for priests and religious across the world, construction of chapels, schools, clinics, catechetical programs, support of orphans, elderly, vulnerable, and especially support to areas that are devastated by war or natural disasters. So that's one example, but there's many good causes that we can consider giving back to. And finally, consider supporting the Archbishop's annual appeal. You'll be receiving a mailing from Archbishop McGovern as well, asking for your support. There's actually a goal of participation that he is challenging each parish to do, and I put those goals in the bulletin. You'll be able to see what your parish's goal is specifically. This appeal is an opportunity for us to come together with each other across all the different parishes within our diocese to be able to support vital ministries, programs, services that help transform lives in our area. So, I'll give you a few examples, and they actually said that when I note these, that if you're affected directly by them, you should stand up, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So, for example, if someone is a Eucharistic minister or a lector, we have training through the Archdiocese to help form us for those ministries. If you're a student, a parent, a grandparent, graduate of Catholic grade school or Catholic high school, our schools help receive support from the Archdiocese as well. Those who have gone through or are currently in the mentorship program within the Archdiocese. If you've participated or led a Live Lent Together small group, materials from the Archdiocese help support that. If you've worked in a Catholic school or parish or in the Archdiocese, if you've had to go through the Safe Environment training, quite a number of us that go through that training. That is also supported through the Archdiocese. So there's many different ones, maybe a couple specific ones, is that during this past year, the Archdiocese prepared 24 men in formation to become deacons, one of which, Deacon Kyle Ewing, is now serving within our parish family. Also, we celebrated the ordination of 3 priests, one of which, Father Will, is serving in our parishes. Thinking back to my own time in the seminary, I really appreciated your great generosity, so that gave me the ability to be able to study and prepare, discern, and say yes to the call to come here and now be your priest today. So please consider how your family might actively take part in this shared mission through your financial gifts to the Archbishop's appeal. Whatever your contribution, no matter how small, it's a testament to our commitment to building up a stronger, more vibrant church. So thank you in joining me in supporting the Archbishop's annual appeal. Thinking about these 3 areas of prayer, participation, and generosity makes me think of that first reading when we're all working together. First reading, we've got Joshua, the commander of God's army. We've got the people, the Israelites, that go up against the enemies. But then you have Moses up on the hill, holding his hands up in prayer. And then even he needs that direct support of Aaron and Hur, who are holding up his arms. And so when they're all functioning together, then they are successful in the battle. And so in the same way, when we all respond to what God has done for us, then we also see the church build up in that way. So thank you for your response to God, who has rescued us, through your renewed commitment to prayer, participation, and generosity.